record this. For those people who say, oh, is there a recording? We're going to have a recording for you. So I would love to just lay the foundation of some simple changes for better health and what I learned 16 years ago that totally took my family on a better trajectory to health when I really wasn't a healthy eater and I wasn't going to be a good influence on my family either. So thankfully, a friend of mine shared all this information that I'm going to share really quickly as just a foundation, because we really want to get to the stories for the open mic tonight. But it's good to have this foundational information and to make all of us think about simple changes that we can do that will lead to better health, and we are a health conscious, like-minded community of people who are not perfect, who are just making simple changes one at a time, because we only have one body to live in. And we need to really take care of that with some good daily habits, because right now there's so much disease that is happening in America, even though we have one of the most affluent societies. Heart disease, cancer, diabetes, obesity, all these things are really on the rise, and same with medications. And then our children are following along on that path as well. Well, Thomas Edison and many doctors say that we should really look at prevention with nutrition. So we're going to be looking at that tonight. 90% of our food process in America is processed. 90% of our food eaten, in America is processed. And we live in a time when our children are more harmed by poor diet than by exposure to drugs, alcohol, and tobacco combined. And so what we want to look at is the prevention of disease through nutrition, because you don't have to be a victim. You can actually feel very empowered that 75% of diseases are preventable through good nutrition. But it's got to be the right kind of nutrition, because food is fuel, and real food is what we want to really look at as the fuel. So that is in the perimeter of the aisles at the supermarket. And you'll see on this watermelon example that real food rots. Real food has live enzymes. So you really want to pick that, because we are live bodies. We need live enzymes, and those live foods, those plant foods, actually will help us to stay alive longer. And as you can see, real food rots. With that watermelon, looks kind of gross, but that is reality. And then the bottom picture is processed food. Processed food is not really made for us in mind. It's really giving our bodies a harder time processing. And it might be great for the manufacturers that it still looks the same many days later, but it's not good for our bodies. So we really want to be careful. And what is the foundation to better health? Fruits and vegetables. 150 doctors researched 4,500 studies on what helps keep us healthy. The only common denominator. And any disease, if you look it up, the first thing it'll say, eat more fruits and vegetables. And so that's why the American Cancer Society and many of the other societies recommend lots and lots of fruits and vegetables. Look at that picture. They could have put anything on there. They could have said, look for a fast-growing mole, don't smoke, things like that. But they know that the key to better health and preventing disease is eating lots of fruits and vegetables from a variety of sources and colors. And that's why the government recommends at least half your plate be fruits and vegetables. And in fact, the recommendation is 7 to 13 a day. And really raw and vine ripened is the way to go. Why is that? Because we're all undergoing something called oxidative stress. Just by breathing, just by living every day, we have a certain amount of oxidative stress. Well, a byproduct of that is free radicals. And those free radicals are hitting on our good, healthy cells 10,000 oxidative hits every single day. So we want to protect from that. One of our Nobel Peace Prize winners says every day that you don't have enough fruits and vegetables, it's like standing in front of an X-ray machine every single day. So we need to eat lots of fruits and vegetables because they provide antioxidants to combat that oxidative stress and really neutralize it. It takes it away, which is really great. But the problem is we don't eat enough fruits and vegetables. This is a great picture of a small child, but I think we're a lot like a small child many of the times, where we don't want to eat our fruits and vegetables either because there's so many other great things that we're eating. In fact, less than 2 servings is what the statistic is that we eat. And so a lot of times people try to bridge the gap with vitamins. And so they're only getting about 30 isolated vitamins or minerals when they take a vitamin supplement, when in fact vitamins come from whole foods, fruits and vegetables. And so in a fruit or a vegetable, there's thousands and thousands of nutrients, phytochemicals, vitamins, minerals, enzymes. So it's much better to eat the whole food. And that is why fruits and vegetables are on the American Cancer Society poster and the most recommended thing to do. This is my transformation. 16 years ago, that was me in the top picture having my first baby when I really was not healthy. And hopefully you can see I was a lot healthier 8 years later on my last baby at age 40. And so I had made a lot of simple changes. The simple changes I'm going to share with you tonight, still not perfect in any way, but I made a lot of simple changes based on just a couple really good things, really good daily habits that I'm going to share with you. And so now our family is just so much healthier because we've been making those changes. We do not have to be part of the medical system. We only go for well visits. That's if we remember. Or stitches or broken bones. We can't really control that, unfortunately. But we have been able to stay out of the doctor's office for illnesses, sicknesses, things like that. And so what is that simple change that we made many years ago? We included Juice Plus every single day in our diets. We take the fruit, the vegetable, the vineyard, capsules or chewables every single day, all of us. And we also use the complete shake. And so we're getting about 45 different plants in our diet every day. And so that is a way in which you can increase the plants that are in your diet. So it comes in capsule or chewable form. It's fruits and vegetables and berries that have been juiced for you. They take out the salt, the sugar, and the water. They put it into capsules or chewables. And then also the complete shake is complex carbohydrates and plant proteins and lots of fiber. And you'll hear how this has really had a wonderful effect on many, many people. And so I would not be able to recommend this or be confident in it if it didn't have so much research behind it. And you might see some of your favorite universities and medical centers here that have proven that it's effective and also very safe, even for pregnant women and ovarian cancer patients. So I say if they use it on those fragile patients, then of course it's safe and effective for us also. And so what it's proven over 36 medical journals over the last 25 years of being studied is that it reduces that oxidative stress, which I think is really one of the key things that we need to be concerned about, because that is going to happen every day. And that's why we need to eat lots of fruits and vegetables. But Juice Plus was shown to reduce that within 28 days. So that slows the aging and the disease process. And it actually helps protect that DNA because it's not getting hit on by those bad free radicals that we talked about earlier. And then it supports a healthy immune system. Within 80 days, your immune system's better. Supports cardiovascular wellness. We have lots of studies on that. It reduces systemic inflammation, which is a key indicator of any disease. And then it supports healthy skin and gums. And so we've got lots of Juice Plus effects, and I love this open mic thing that we're going to do tonight. You're going to hear about lots of these different effects from different people who will be speaking. Everyone has some kind of effect on Juice Plus. You know, good nutrition is good for everyone. And so we're going to listen first to Doug. I'm going to show you his before and after picture. This is my husband. We were at Myrtle Beach, and it was vacation time, and his mom actually turned on the TV and it was her laptop, and she had this great picture of us that she loves. But when turned on, Doug was not so happy to see that picture. Doug, you want to go first?
Well, yeah, I was horrified by it. Luckily, I've made some changes. And, you know, part of that journey for me, obviously, and being married to Sharon, I've heard this information for many, many years. But I think as a man, I think we learn a little slower than others. And it's taken a while for it to sink in. But I've gotten to a point over the last, probably it started when my daughter was born 9 years ago, where I realized that, I mean, I was like a walk-in heart attack waiting to happen. I was overweight. I had high blood pressure, my cholesterol. I was on medication for blood pressure and cholesterol. And I kind of felt like I was on a diet for the last 25 years or so. I just always struggled with that. But I started eating better, being in this community, just the encouragement that happens here. And then also I started taking my Juice Plus regularly, not just when Sharon put it in my hand, but voluntarily seeking it out. And I found that over several years, I was able to get off of medication for both my cholesterol and my blood pressure. And then starting about, I guess it was last summer, we started doing this thing called Transform 30, where you cut out dairy, you cut out gluten, and I started using the shake, the Juice Plus Complete Shake, not just once a day, but actually twice a day. And I use it in the morning, then I do a smart lunch, and then I'll have it either as dinner or I'll do like it as a late afternoon snack so that my dinner isn't like crazy. And slowly but steady, for the first time in my life, I just continually, I'm inching down my weight. And well, the last time I checked, I had lost 30 pounds, but I was a little frustrated because I felt like I hit a plateau. So I got rid of the scale. And since doing that, I've started to lose weight again. And I'm at this big event tonight for our church worship team. There's probably 200 people here tonight. And I'm telling you what, people keep coming up and saying, "What are you doing, man? You look great. You look great." And that's been the effect for me, is that I've seen the weight loss with the smoothies, and I've been able to change my blood pressure and my cholesterol. And my mom, who's a type 2 diabetic, she was not able, she loves fruit. I mean, we always had fruit in the house growing up. But with diabetes, she wasn't able to have fruit. She had to give it up. But she started having the smoothie, the Juice Plus Complete. She adds, not only can she add fruit to the smoothie, and she loves it, but she's able to eat fruit afterward for breakfast as well. And her numbers don't spike at all. It's because our shake has a low glycemic index. And, well, I'm no doctor. I'm not sure why. But with that shake, she's able to have fruit again. So it's really changed her life. She loves it.
That's great. Thank you. And I know she can have fruit in the shake and during the day. And so she's so super.
Yeah.
And I think she's been able to decrease her diabetes medicine as well. And we've seen that a lot with a lot of people. So I've taken the screen share off because I know we have some other guest speakers. And Michelle, I wanted you to just give a comment on the whole diabetes thing because you've had some experience with that.
Okay, yes. So I know when I first heard of Juice Plus, my dad was one of the first 5 people I thought of because, like Doug's mom, he's a diabetic and he's actually insulin dependent. And so he can't eat those fruits like he used to. And I knew that was like a part of his diet that was missing. And so he got on Juice Plus. He got on all 3 blends. And, you know, the first 2 weeks, they were like, "Oh, things are happening and we don't know what's going on." Well, really, it was his body flushing out a lot of the toxins. And then after like the 2 weeks, he started to get really stable in his blood sugar levels, which was great, you know, because he was insulin dependent. So he's one case scenario. And my dad is actually now 86 years old. So he started when he was 81, never too old to start on Juice Plus. And then I had a friend of mine whose daughter was diagnosed with diabetes at age 5, and she was also insulin dependent. And, you know, he heard the information and they got on the Children's Health Study. She was taking the fruit and the vegetable gummies. And within the first 2 weeks, they realized they had to lower her insulin that they were giving her at night because now she was too low in the morning. So her body was starting to do things on its own where it did not need as much insulin. And, you know, for that, he was forever grateful. He was just like, they didn't imagine that being happening. So I've just heard like case after case of great results from taking Juice Plus and having diabetes. So yes, I agree with Doug.
Thank you, Michelle. I appreciate that. And I want to turn to Aida, who I loved her story. I can't remember the story to save my life, but I know it was a good story because I'm like, please record this. And so then I said, please share this tonight. So I'm excited to hear her story again. Go ahead.
I'm excited to be here. I first heard about Juice Plus from Dr. Nalani Valentine. It was in 2012. And I began to take it and my energy level changed, and I'm a researcher. I had to go out there, do all the research, get all my T's crossed, and I said, oh, this is a great product. And then life changed. And I would say it turned upside down, but really it turned right side up. So my life changed drastically, but Nalani stayed in contact with me. I didn't pursue doing anything with the Juice Plus. Eventually, I wasn't even taking it. Until Probably about 3 months ago, I began talking to Nalani again. I've been on the Juice Plus now for almost 2 months. I work retail. The next 6 days, my shift is 11 to 8 for 6 days in a row. Okay. I work long hours. A lot of my hours will be 9:30 to 9 in the evening. Multitasking on my feet all day. And I will be answering the phone, selling to customers, taking care of dispensing, taking care of upset customers all day long. I was so exhausted that at 9 o'clock when I would leave, I would have to sit in my car for 15, 20 minutes until I became coherent again so that I could drive home. It was pretty bad. I would go into the lab to pull lenses, come back and go, what was I doing? Where am I going? Who's next? Completely incoherent from the exhaustion. Well, began taking my wonderful Juice Plus. I was speaking to my retail supervisor today. She's 26 years old, and she said to me, woman, what are you doing? Because I'm running around doing all this stuff. And she goes, I'm so tired. So, of course, I just talked to her about Juice Plus today, but the change is huge. I do not have to sit in my car. I leave, I come home. I have a hard time actually going back to bed because I'm so full of energy. I want to get all kinds of things done. So it's been fantastic. I also mentioned when I spoke to you before, Sharon, one of the major things is that I don't know if many of you understand much about eyes. I work for vision work, so it's all about the eyes. I'm a negative 1375 in this eye and a negative 19 in this eye. I'm almost legally blind, and I was having a terrible, terrible time driving at night. My vision is so sharp when I leave work and I drive at night. It is a huge difference. And the biggest change I've noticed within the last week, I'm sleeping. I started being able to sleep at night. I was hardly sleeping. It was almost like my body was so overtired and exhausted that I could not relax it to fall asleep. And now, as of the last week, I'm so rested and it just feels great. So I'm very excited. My mental focus is fantastic. I'm very alert. I worked from 11 o'clock till now, till 8:30 tonight. And here I am. And then the other, pretty much want to share the story, my husband's story. Ray, it must be a diabetes night.
I remember his story now that you've been talking.
Ray is diabetic. He's on metformin, and he's also on cholesterol medication and high blood pressure medication. And he had been so exhausted. He delivers for Amazon, gets up at 11:40 at night, gets back around 9:10 in the morning. And he would do that, get back at 9:10 in the morning, go to sleep. I wouldn't see him all day until like 5. He would get up and eat and then go right back to bed. No energy, none. And you would speak to him and the clarity of his thoughts, his mental focus was not there, just completely wiped out. He would have to go and drive maybe 3-4 hours, stop at a rest stop, close his eyes because he was afraid to cause an accident from how exhausted he was all the time. Would rest 15, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, sometimes sleep for 40 minutes, then take off again to finish his route. And sometimes he would do this twice in one route. So, oh my gosh, now, yesterday he was talking to me, he goes, oh, I have so much energy. Do I have to go to sleep?
Wow.
It's fantastic. One of the things that is really important, and I know you already know this for a diabetic, is to be able to get to the gym and get that exercise in. He could not do that. He was so exhausted. He has so much energy. He's also doing the shakes. His evening meal, he's doing a shake is what he's doing. His blood sugar has not gone any higher than 123.
Wonderful.
It is so stable. His energy level is amazing. He's getting to the gym, getting his exercise. I'll come back and he's like, I went to the gym and I did this and I did that. And what I love the most is when you have somebody you love so much and you sit down to have a conversation with them and you can notice that they can't even focus enough to have a conversation. That breaks your heart. And now he has such clarity. So we're very excited. And we're talking about 2 months of being on Juice Plus.
Well,
So
we're
that's
so
awesome.
happy for you. You can tell you're glowing. You're so excited.
Very.
Thank you so much for sharing.
Yes,
That is
yes.
awesome. It's made a big impact on your family.
Yes.
Wonderful. Well, we're going to have 2 more stories with Jenny, and then we'll end with Sandy for our open mic tonight. So go ahead, Jenny.
Hi, everybody. It's great to see you. My name's Jenny. That was a great story, and I just wanted to say something before I get into mine about Doug mentioning the T30 and how great he's doing.
Mm-hmm.
I just finished my 10th day and the 10-day shred.
What?
I did. I made it through with no problems, actually.
Good.
I was surprised at how well I did. So I'm 5 pounds down and less bloated. So yay.
That's amazing. Good job. I remember when you started, you were very reluctant. You're like, oh no, but good job.
It was excellent. I don't think I'm going to stop, actually. So my journey with Juice Plus started about 2 years ago to the month, actually. It was the school year of 2013, 2014, and I'm a school teacher, and I have 2 young children, and we were constantly sick, constantly. I used all my sick days at work. My husband used all his, to the point where we would have to actually go get unpaid days and be juggling who's going to take off work next. That winter had come around, and we have one of those health savings account cards, the FS, those cards, and they had replenished it with $1,200. And you think, okay, that's going to last a while. Well, fast forward a couple of months, we had spent all of it on copays. I racked up another $1,500 with the Memorial Health System through urgent care visits, emergency care visits. We had found out that my son had severe constipation. We thought his appendix was erupting, and come to find out, he was so backed up, the doctor had said it had been going on for about 6 months to a year. It was heartbreaking. And the worst part is, the only thing he told me to eliminate from his diet was high fructose corn syrup and white bread. Little did I know that was only touching the surface barely. So 2 years ago, May, my daughter gets a high fever. 7 days it lasted. I had to take her to the emergency room. She had to get IV for dehydration, and all this money spent. My husband and I were at our wit's end. So my girlfriend Kristen told me about Juice Plus, and I didn't even really understand what it was at first. I was desperate, so I was going to try anything. After a couple of months on it, I noticed how well everybody was feeling, how much more water my family was drinking, how much energy we all had. My husband was still a skeptic. He's very skeptical about everything. And he said, let's give it until January. We'll stay on it until January. Well, fast forward to that January, and January's past that. We don't go to the doctor for sick visits anymore. Our colds don't last long. They don't turn into much. I'm just so thankful because we have changed the way we eat. We have changed the way we shop. And it's a natural thing in our house now. I have my husband looking at ingredients where he's a meat and potatoes guy. He loves chicken wings and everything bad that you can imagine. He puts in his body. And so when I make him salad jars for lunch now, and he loves it and eats it and asks for them, it's great. So we're so thankful that Juice Plus came into our life 2 years ago. I'm now on a mission to inspire others. I tell other moms about it. I tell everybody about it because I want to share my knowledge. I want to help other people to get healthy. And the greatest part is because I'm sharing the mission, I'm making an extra income out of it too, which is fantastic. And through all of these events, I just learned more and more. I'm now well equipped to share knowledge that I didn't have before. And I feel like a whole new person. My family is a whole new family, and I'm just so thankful.
That's great. Now you're investing in wellness and health instead of on the other end, right?
Exactly. Exactly.
All right. Well, we're so happy for you. Awesome. Okay, Sandy, close us out here.
Okay, well, for me, my story really started with my son. At the time when I first found out about Juice Plus, what I was dealing with is he had just started school, and within just a few weeks of starting school, it was like a whirlwind of a nightmare, basically. From one thing to another, we had ear infections, we had strep throat, we had bronchitis. We ended up in the hospital. It was just a nightmare. And for me, I mean, I didn't know. I only have one son. I still only have one little one. And I never knew. I don't remember being little myself. And everyone always told me it was just what they call the rite of passage. You had to, when you went into school, you got sick and you built up your immune system, and that's just how it was. So I was really thankful when I first heard about Juice Plus, because I was exhausted. I mean, frustrated, tired. We had every prescription under the sun. And at times, I felt helpless as a mom. Like, I can remember sitting literally in our pool at 3 o'clock in the morning, trying to bring down my son's fever because it was 105 degrees and the medicine wasn't working. So fortunately, I was able to change, our health picture completely. We went from that family that was in the doctor's office every week, or the hospital, or at the pharmacy, to I only go once a year for that paper you have to come get to go back to school. So our story, like I said, was about, he started when he was about 2 years old. Fast forward about 6 months into eating Juice Plus, everything changed for us. I didn't even realize it, because you take for granted what you're not experiencing. So I didn't even think of him not being sick anymore. It just became our new normal. So for me, learning how to flood his body with fruits and vegetables, which is the concentrated little gummies that he absolutely loves and asks for by name, it just made all the difference in the world for not only us, but also for him, really, because it's just changed our quality of health, tremendously. It's amazing. But he's not, he's the reason that we got started. But my husband's also had great results with his cholesterol, blood pressure. My grandfather's had great results. My grandmother, there's a long list of people, and like Sharon, who's been in the business for so long, there's been so many people close to me that, I share it with, because it just means so much to me to be able to change people's picture of health, and it's just in one simple way. So I'm very thankful for Juice Plus myself too.
Thank you, Sandy. That was wonderful. And I'm so blessed. I get to hear all these stories all the time. So I'm glad we got to share them with the people on the Zoom tonight. And also we'll be able to share this recording with everyone. Our mission is to inspire healthy living around the world. So I hope these stories inspired you tonight. Have a wonderful night.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.